Hello and welcome to Real to Real. The brutal ongoing war in Ukraine has captured the headlines across the world. Here in Western Massachusetts, there are two small Ukrainian Catholic churches with parishioners who have relatives fighting on the front lines against Russia. Steve Kiltonic attended a recent Mass at St. Peter and Paul Ukrainian Catholic Church in Ludlow and has this report.
The Russian invasion of Ukraine on February 24th has rallied the world nations in a condemnation of the unprovoked war. Over 2 million Ukrainian refugees have fled to neighboring countries to escape the constant Russian bombings and rocket attacks on the civilian population. Thousands in the country's eastern and northern cities have been forced to go underground without food or water for days. In occupied Mariupol, the Russians have not allowed people to leave or the Red Cross to take the wounded away. Despite the humanitarian crisis, the faith of the Ukrainians has not been shaken, as the leader of the Ukrainian Catholic Church said Mass will be brought to the people.
Зійдуть у бомбосховища і там будуть звершувати божественні літургії. Церква є зі своїм народом.
Parishioners of St. Peter and Paul Ukrainian Catholic Church in Ludlow have experienced the war firsthand through family members and relatives who are living through the invasion in real time. Father Andrei Kreep calls it a genocide of the Ukrainian nation.
It's horrible, it's terrible, and it's unjust war because nothing was done by Ukraine to make this war happen.
Father Kreep fears for his parents and extended family members who plan on staying.
My parents and most of the relatives are in western part of country, but some relatives are in Kyiv, and in those parts where the heavy war is going on, where the bombs are falling every day, every night, every hour. We talk to them. It's difficult. Nobody knows what to expect, what's gonna tomorrow look like. It's scary. It's tough.
Ola Koval, who was born in Ukraine, travels from East Hampton to attend Mass here.
The first reaction was shock, and then, obviously heartbreak, hearing the stories and seeing the images. It's just a devastating war that a lot of people didn't want to think would happen.
Koval's grandmother, as well as many uncles, aunts, and cousins, live mainly in the western part near Lviv, or the capital Kyiv, while still others are in the southern part of the country.
They're in the front lines in the cities in the west, preparing to stand ground if Russia decides to invade, which seems like that is his plan, is to take over the whole country.
Sophie Zelensky was born in Ukraine.
I'm terrified for the people of Ukraine, and I'm terrified for the European nations, and I'm terrified for us. I think that Putin is not thinking rationally right now.
Zelensky's relatives are battling on the front lines.
My cousin's husband and her son are actively fighting. They are in the capital city of Kyiv. I'm in touch with them through Facebook. Volodymyr Zelensky, who's their president, has really rallied the Ukrainian people, and he's rallied the support of the world. This was what he was meant to do.
He was not afraid to die himself. He was not afraid to sacrifice his family, his wife and his 2 kids.
Father Kreep and his parishioners are unanimous in their belief that their fellow Ukrainians will never surrender to the Russians, no matter what the cost or how many lives may be lost.
Fight to the last drop of your blood, and that's what they're gonna do. Ukrainians are not cowards. They will stand to the end, only to win, and they will win, because there is that spirit inside of Ukrainian people. They are fighting for freedom.
It's just astonishing that so many are picking up arms, that are teachers, that are doctors, that are lawyers.
I think that they are willing to lose their lives over this for the glory of Ukraine. They've had a taste of freedom, for the past 30 years. They do not want to give that up.
Since the war began, there has been an outpouring of support from local communities. Approximately $7,000 has been raised thus far, and 70 boxes filled with donated medical supplies, children's clothes, and snacks are ready to be shipped out. Parishioners spent time after Mass in the church hall filling boxes with various items. In times of war, Ukrainians have prayed for the intercession of Mary, or Pokrova as she is known in Eastern Orthodox Catholic churches. When the city of Constantinople was surrounded by an invading army, the people prayed to Pokrova, and she miraculously protected the city.
We all pray around the world, and people in Ukraine, they do pray for the protection of God, for some change of mind of Russians.
May Pokrova protect all Ukrainians and be a source of solace, hope, and comfort for all who suffer. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonic.